Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, small woodland creatures. It is the Wednesday edition of the Morning Break. I am Rob Patz. It is good to be here. It is, I have to tell you, this is going to be a good edition. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to be a part of today's show. We're excited about it. Hey, listen, are you part of the country right now that they are talking about this weather like it is Armageddon, which I always love. And full disclosure, I worked in television and radio. I worked and stood next to several weather people over time. And hey, listen, this is what we have to talk about. We always call it news cycles, whatever you want to call it. Right now, this is it. And I'll tell you this, last night, my wife was so bummed because they had moved. We're in Ohio, and they had moved the snow south, that the heavy accumulation, because they're talking in some parts of the country, including here, in this region, they're talking about a foot of snow over the weekend. And they moved that to us just getting traces. And you should have seen, my wife looked so sad. She looked like, in fact, I thought something was wrong. This was about 10:30 last night. And I see my wife and I go, Kristen, what's wrong? And she goes, they've moved the snow. I'm like, what? And she goes, they moved the snow down south of us. It's going to go south of us. And she said, I was so bummed because I wanted to see, because they're talking 12 inches. They're talking 12 to 15 inches now. But lo and behold, she woke up this morning to a weather alert saying that we're back in the pattern. And somewhere between 8 to 12 inches of snow this weekend in our region. And one of the places I wanted to talk about, because this has all the look. This is Van Wert, Ohio. If you've never been, it's a cute little town on the Indiana-Ohio border, Van Wert, Ohio. And that's what it looks like right now. Live look-in with the my-snackies.com look-in cam. You can see it is nice and clear. Cute little town. If you've never been to Van Wert, and this is like the third time they've been featured in a little over. By the way, this week makes 4 months of doing the show. And for those of you that don't know, started off once a week on a radio station that I own. And it was just a half hour, and I agreed begrudgingly to do it. And voila, here we are now doing it on TV, on the network. If you're watching across the Abundant TV network family, or on social media, which you can find us there also. We appreciate it. Hey, listen, I want to thank the folks at my-snackies.com for the look in. Van Wert, Ohio. A couple days ago, we had Key West. Of course, Key West looked amazing. Yes, for those of us that are really over winter right now, yeah. A friend of mine who's a meteorologist, and we're friends on Facebook, and she posted yesterday to say, "Hey, listen, we're halfway done with winter." Yeah, for those of us that live in places where winter is like this, you don't want it to stay any longer. Been that year. I lived in Ohio, and I got married. Chris and I got married in 21. September of 21, and never saw any bad weather, really. A little bit of snow here and there, same like home, like Seattle. And but then, and I teased everybody about it. Now I'm good. If we can go back to the other weather, I'm fine. Started snowing here like 1st of November. and there's no hope. There's no hope. Hey, thanks to great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee, 7weekscoffee.com. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. And now here's the deal. I'm a coffee snob. I'm going to be the first to tell you that. I'm going to admit something that legitimately I'm not proud of, but I like good coffee. And my wife found this coffee last year. Got in contact with the company and reached out to them and said, "Hey, listen, we have this network. We think your products would fit what we're doing." And I was a little skeptical. You know, sometimes you get these coffee companies and they brag about how good they are, and then you get the coffee and you go, yeah, it's just not good. Anyway, That wasn't the case with 7 Weeks Coffee. My wife was smart enough to order me a variety pack. It was everything from their morning blend to their dark roast. Now, I'm a dark roast fan. I love a good dark roast coffee, but I tried them all and loved them all. Whether you like a kind of a touch of caramel with like the morning blend or anything like that, if you've never had small batch, small roast coffee before, you need to try out 7 Weeks Coffee. 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. We are going to go all fashioned, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know, I dig a lot. If you follow me on social media, I like looking sharp. I like feeling sharp. I just like things that look cool. I like aesthetic. It's a great word. That should be our word of the day. Aesthetic should be the word of the day. We're going to talk to our good friend, Julie, after this break. You, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are locked into the morning break.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Thanks to great folks, 7 Weeks Coffee, 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. By the way, today is National Granola Bar Day. You could have it with your coffee. I don't like granola bars. I got to be honest with you. There isn't a granola bar that I like. Um, it kind of reminds me of just sticking my head in a mixed bag of like things that don't taste good. Unless they've got chocolate on them, then in that case, they're okay. But hey, listen, I'm so excited to introduce you to a friend of mine, Julie. Julie is here. She is with a great company, and I am not proficient when it comes to French, but I'm going to try just really hard, Julie, to see if I get this right. Demain?
Yes, very good. Demain.
Yeah, I was close. So before we start talking about all the cool stuff that you've done, I've got to ask you, granola bar. Do you like granola bars? Are you one of those people that like granola bars? And if so, what's your favorite?
Okay, so no, I am not a fan of granola bars. However, if I had to choose one, I'm with you with the chocolate. So I think it's called Naked, and they're covered in chocolate. And if I had to have one, that would be my choice.
Delta serves those in Comfort Plus and in their first class. They are legitimately the only one that I'll eat. And you kind of just lie to yourself because you're 35,000 feet in the air. You lie to yourself that this is good, but you wouldn't eat it normally. I'm not like, no, but yeah. So I want you to tell the story because this is a neat story. You went down to start with to help in Haiti to help with it was right after or were you there already?
No, 10 days after the earthquake hit in 2010, I landed.
And you were there and you saw it. Tell us, I want the story of how you decided to go to Haiti because I love that. I cheated, guys, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you, we need to write this down. This is one of the few times I actually researched some stuff. So tell us the story of how you got to Haiti, and I want to hear that.
Well, I live in Florida, and I felt guilty when I was hearing your comments about the weather because it was 40 degrees here yesterday, and we were complaining because Floridians do that when it's 40 degrees. But so I'm about 700 miles from Haiti, and at the time in 2010, I didn't have any connections, no Haitian friends really, no affinity to the island for any reason. But the night of the earthquake, I didn't know it had happened yet because I didn't have a TV and I didn't hear the news. But I had this really strong calling to go to Haiti. So strong that it like woke me up in the middle of the night, and it was just like, you got to go to Haiti. And I just thought, this is really bizarre just because I had no, former relations with Haiti. And the next morning, as I'm driving to work and I listen to NPR on the radio and they're talking about this horrific earthquake that happened. And I just went, okay, God, this is why I'm supposed to go to Haiti. And I am a trained disaster responder. So it all made sense. But then, what happened when I got there was definitely not what I had planned. It's just, I did what I felt really passionate about, really called to do. And that was just to listen. And so to listen to what I was supposed to be doing, listen to the people around me, and that kind of transformed my entire life.
And I think that one thing, and I don't remember where I read where you said this, that the people changed you, that
Oh,
you were
yeah.
there to help them, but in turn, it really was like they sewed into you.
Oh, dramatically. Yeah, dramatically. I mean, I was there as a disaster responder, and I was doing the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing as a disaster responder. And about 3 months into my deployment, a woman says to me, "Hey, white lady, I don't want any water, but I need a job." And it kind of revolutionized what I thought I was doing, because I decided then and there that I didn't want to be part of the short-term relief efforts, that I wanted to be part of the long-term economic development of Haiti. And it was because, this woman said that to me, and as I was experiencing the culture and the community, it was the women around me who I just thought, I want to be like these women. They're strong, they're passionate, they're community oriented, they're resilient, all the things that I wanted to be as a young woman. And so, yeah, I definitely learned from them and was poured into by them.
So was she one of your first hires then? Because we're going to get into that part of the story, but I got to ask this question now so I don't forget.
Yeah, I wish so much, but I never saw that woman again. So I actually just wrote a book, and I wrote about her in my book because it's haunted me that I never saw her again. Because back in that day, we were distributing to these huge camps that had hundreds of thousands of people, and she had actually said those words to me in Creole, and I didn't speak Creole at the time, and so I wrote it down in my journal. And it wasn't until later in the evening that I had someone translate to me. And I read it over and over and over. And I thought, okay, so no, I never saw her again. But I had a very similar situation happen about a month later. And that was my first hire.
Oh, very cool. So, hey, you mentioned the book. Before we get on to the company, then tell everybody about the book.
Okay, so I just published in November our memoir. It's called From Lost to Legacy: How a Fashion Business Rose from Haiti's Rubble. And in it, it was, originally formatted to be a textbook, because I thought all these lessons that we're learning about building a fashion company, about working in the developing world, about being a foreigner, trying to start a business in community, I thought, okay, I've made so many mistakes. I got to write them all down and tell people, what not to do. And about 10 years later, because it's just been this lifelong project, as I got older, as we've experienced more things, I started writing about personal things that had happened to me and what was happening to me. And as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as a woman, as somebody who just got married, all these sorts of things. And I started interviewing my colleagues about their same experiences. And so I interviewed about 30 different people to write this book, and it turned into a memoir of our stories. And, so it wasn't a textbook any longer. It was a memoir of how we built the company and the people it took to make it happen, because it took hundreds of people. And I maybe captured just 2% of the people that were involved, but it's pretty fun because a lot of my Haitian colleagues who don't speak English, I was able to translate their stories into the book. And so
Oh,
you get
very
a
cool.
real feel for some of the people that really made this happen.
I think it's such a neat story. So we're gonna move on in the story because I want people to know she's just fantastic. I love reading. I follow her on social media, which is also so you've got me doing two things. Normally, I don't follow the people on social media that I interview. Sorry, guys. And I don't usually do research, but like you got my attention with all the cool stuff. So tell me how the process started with Domain and having the facility there in Haiti. How did that process? What one day did you just go, I'm going to do this. This is exactly what I want to do.
Well, it was another thing where I just listened, and when the women started telling me they wanted jobs, and we were really passionate about like getting paychecks again and just all these things and starting to rebuild and take back everything that the earthquake stole, I had a dream that I remembered when I was a missionary in Africa. I was living in Malawi. I had seen people making recycled tire sandals. So out of the sidewalls of tires, making the soles of sandals, and then, using different in Africa, like local materials for the upper. And I thought, you know what? We can do that. And so that leads into when I met the second woman, Jolena, who is my business partner and the first person that we hired 16 years ago now. I met Jolena and she told me, Julie, I'm so grateful for the distribution of rice and oil and water and the things that the relief workers have been bringing, but they're becoming fewer and further in between these distributions. How am I to raise my family when I lost my job and lost everything because of the earthquake? And I told her, I said, Jolena, I had this dream about making these recycled tire sandals. I saw it in Africa. I think we can do it here. And she said, well, I used to work in a factory and I can sew. And we have tires here that are burned, because in Haiti, they don't have waste management systems that are set up properly. So people will put all their trash inside of tires and light them on fire. So we thought, okay, well, we've got raw materials. We've got somebody that can sew. Let's figure this out. And so our very first product 16 years ago, we made and sold recycled tire sandals. So Jolena, myself, and 3 other women sat on the floor. So the very first factory was a lean-to with a tarp tent, and we sat on the floor. We didn't even have chairs, and we had razor blades, and we were cutting out the soles of tires. It was not glamorous, Rob. I'll tell you that right now. It was dirty and terrible, and I don't know how we did it, but we did it because that's Haiti. In Haiti, you just get things done.
What you said is so true, though. Sometimes the start isn't glamorous.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to be put in a position where we really put the work in, and it isn't always glamorous.
Yeah, it's true. I think, and that's, kind of when, you get to a certain place or some really good things happen, people think, oh my gosh, yeah, you just rocked up and here's this solar powered factory and, this great area and all these things. And it's like, no, we had to fight for everything. And that's why the company is called Deux Mains. It actually means 2 hands in Creole. And because we had to do everything with our own 2 hands, from building our chairs to building our factory to building the product we literally had to do everything ourselves.
See, and I think that's neat. You mentioned something. So tell us about the factory, because we're going to skip ahead, not because I don't want to hear the whole story, but because the network will cut me off here in a few minutes, and I won't get, and people will be like, Rob, shut up, let her talk.
A huge factory right in the center of Port-au-Prince. It's all solar powered. We have a really good mix we like to mix industrial processes with a handmade technique. So you'll see like a lot of hand weaving, but obviously to maximize efficiency so we can be competitive in the market and to make sure that certain things are standardized. We have some machinery, and there's 50 employees there now. So we went from 4 people sitting on the floor to now 50 full-time craftspeople working in this solar powered factory right in the center of Port-au-Prince. And it's been a dream come true. And we're actually, one of our biggest caveats, the biggest thing that has happened in 2025 was that we partnered with Nordstrom's. And so our handbags, these Haitian made handbags, are selling at Nordstrom.
Well, being from Seattle, I kind of have I have an affinity to Nordstrom. So we love our Nordstroms in our house. Actually, if I lean this direction, there's a little Nordstrom's bag next to my desk. So that's
Is it really?
Oh, I love Nordstrom's. I grew up with my mom. That was her store, was Nordstrom's, and so excellent place. But
yeah. So
how did you come up with the idea for a solar powered factory? And again, we're kind of jumping all over, but there's so much cool stuff.
I would like to say it was like an environmental decision because obviously it's better for the environment. But the truth is petrol is really hard to come by in Haiti. And so everything is run by generators. We don't have electricity like we do in the States. So in my house in Haiti, I think we had electricity about 3 hours a night, so it was really hard. And so I decided if we were going to protect what we built, we had to be solar powered. We're in the Caribbean, so why not utilize the sun? So it was a huge investment up front, but one that is probably the biggest, best decision that we had made was to make that factory solar powered.
Oh, see, that is so cool. And things are now, because I didn't get to this, I wanted to follow up with this. They started with sandals, but now she has the coolest purses. Yes. My wife is like super tough. She's very picky, and she goes, "Ooh, I like," because when we, this is a false start, ladies and gentlemen. We had she is the reason we were off the air for like 3 weeks while I redid our whole system. But during that time, I sent a link to my wife, and she goes, "Ooh, I like that one. Ooh, I like that one." And my wife is very picky. So I was gonna put you on the spot. Do you have a purse with you? Do you have a handbag?
I've got my handbag right here.
Let's see. Isn't
There's
that cool? I love the two-tone, by the way.
yeah.
Legit. And that is just super cool. That's part of what they do, but they do all kinds of cool stuff. And you know what I didn't look at? This shows you this is how dedicated I am to my wife. I didn't even look if you had men's stuff. I was just
We
looking for
do have a small collection of men's goods as well. That was inspired by my husband. So because my
yes.
husband said, you know, it was funny. He said, I love, you know, your brand. He's always been a huge champion. I actually met my husband in Haiti 16 years ago. So we have, you know, we love what we do. We love Haiti. But he was like, I kind of find it annoying that you don't have anything for men. So, so I was like, okay, honey, well, we will work on that. So we designed a little collection together called the
So
Always a
what do
Little.
you have for men?
So we have a men's duffel bag, a men's messenger bag, wallets, toiletry kits, and then we have some like kind of gender neutral items, you know, like candlestick holders and laptop sleeves and sunglass cases. So all like small leather goods that you can think of is what we
Ooh,
manufacture in the factory.
I'm gonna have to send my wife a link for the wallet for Valentine's Day.
Oh, there you go.
She bought me my last one. We were dating. She bought me my last one, which is like 6 years ago. But it's starting, it's good leather and it's a really good one. But they start to kind of wear, and then you look like you look homeless, like when you pull out your wall. And you don't want to look homeless when you're like going to certain places. It look kind of no duct tape yet has been used on the wallet, just so you know. But
I'm really happy to hear that, because as a fashionista, I cannot handle you having duct, because if that's the case, I am sending you a wallet right now.
No. If as you've gotten to know me, you'd know I wouldn't be the guy hanging out with duct tape on his wallet. So you mentioned the fashion thing, and before we leave, I'll give me your two favorite, besides your own brand, two favorite brands.
Oh, I love Able. They're a women empowerment company that does handbags and clothes and all that kind of. And I love Solos. They have a shoe company that they hand make, I believe, in Ecuador. And both companies, I'm not sure if they're actually fair trade verified. I mean, when we became fair trade verified, it kind of changed everything for us. And I can't remember exactly if they are, but I know that they live by the principles of fair trade. And so I'm a big fan of both of those companies.
See, I knew you'd have an answer. And final question for you today as we get ready to get out of here. Let's say that there's a person out there, it doesn't have to be a woman, could be a man, that's thinking about taking an entrepreneurial journey.
Mhm.
Give them one piece of advice as they are going, man, I love what I do, but I really want to own my own company, or I want to start my own thing. Give them a piece of advice.
Surround yourself by people that believe in you and take away the negative, because there's been so many times on this journey where I could have given up. I probably should have given up. Oh no, I don't know if I should have given up, but things were really, really tough. And it was just sometimes a word from one person or a little bit of encouragement that kept things going. And thank God that they did, because, I really believe that this is our destiny. And for any entrepreneur out there, I'm sure it is yours as well, because there's so much good work to be done in the world. So just surround yourself by good people who are always lifting you up and who believe in you.
Yep. Give them the website.
Okay, so Deuxmains.com is DEUXMAINS, and would love to meet a whole bunch of new clients and partner with you so you can see all the beautiful things being made in Haiti.
And hey, listen, if you didn't get that, go to my Instagram. I follow her, and she is one of the few people I follow. So just go over there and do it that way. But go buy a whole bunch of stuff, because she's a cool designer with a great message. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, Rob, thanks for having me. It's really fun to talk to you.
Hey, we'll come back with my final thought after this. Going to be a great event coming up. Julie from Deuxmains, and with a great event with U.S. Christian Chamber of Commerce. So excited about Julie that I totally stepped on top of what I was supposed to say there. Deuxmains and just the stuff she's doing. Isn't she cool? Like I could hang out with her. There are people in life that you just go, I can hang out with them. That'd be fun. And she did a great job. Thanks so much for being with us today on the morning break. Granola bar, National Granola Bar Day. Oh goodness. Yeah. Yesterday was National Cheese Day. I could totally get behind that one. Another look in on the my-snackies.com Cam Van Wert, Ohio. Goodness, it's gonna be cold. It is cold here today. Though for certain parts of the country, they probably are laughing at us when I say that. It's gonna be 39 today for a high in Ohio. By the way, Van Wert is a cool little town. If you get a chance, you should go and check that out. So here's the deal. Thank you so much, by the way, for watching our show last night on the network. It was one of our highest rated shows ever. And people do actually find us fun to be around. We had some great interviews with some authors, and you can catch it on demand if you missed the Robin Kristen show. Hey, there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about, but I don't have time today to do that. So we'll talk about that next week. Even though Miles Holiday says I have the easiest job in the world, it's 3 days a week. It's not true. One of the other things I wanted to talk about this, and we follow up to Monday because of a question that was asked of me on the app. We listed off the top 10 places in the United States, and I gave grief to Nashville. And I want to say this because this person goes, how can you dislike Nashville? It's not that I dislike Nashville. It's just that I didn't feel it deserved to be, I believe it was number 4 on places when you had New York City, you had all these cool places. Love Nashville. Don't want to get anybody upset with me. Have a lot of friends that live in Nashville. I will be in Nashville next month. Love the area, love everything about it. But no, Nashville was like number 4 on destinations. If you missed Monday's show, destinations that people are traveling to in 2026. And yeah, it was interesting. But I guess, I don't know. I would have put, and it wasn't, I would have put Charleston above it. Charleston's a great place, great history, and just wonderful Southern people. Hey, listen, next week we have so many cool interviews. The return of Mondays with Molly. We'll do motivation on Monday. And hey, listen, remember, you can always catch the show on demand on our app and also on the live stream on our live network every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you. And like I said, today marks 4 months that I've been doing this. When it started with radio, moved to this. It's crazy. Thank you so much for watching every day. Well, not every day, Monday through Wednesday. You never know. We are thinking about adding a Friday show. If you like that idea, drop me a comment if you're watching on social media or hit us up on the app. It's that easy. Whew, it's been a great day. So much fun. Thanks to my friend Julie for being with us. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have now enjoyed, or at least I hope you have, the morning break.